Welcome to the Temple of Elemental Evil Adventure Series, Episode 17.
I am Dreadmoor, your dungeon master. Join us each week as my real-life players adventure through the Temple of Elemental Evil module. Here are the characters that are battling the evil in this classic Greyhawk adventure. Nyraxis, a 4th level infernal tiefling draconic sorcerer. Malik, a 4th level cleric of Palor, who follows the life domain. Dusty Slay, a 4th level Gloomstalker ranger of the gnarly forest. Octavius, a 4th level stone giant Goliath wizard evoker. Cantor, a 4th level orc monk. He is a warrior of the elements. Gothox, a 4th level cloud giant Goliath druid, who belongs to the druid order called the Circle of the Land. Let's continue our story. The chapter title for this week is The Black Burst, Bonds Torn by Fire. We continue episode 17, with our heroes still engaged in combat inside the old farmhouse. Cantor locates 2 bandits standing outside of the fog by a staircase and misses one with a punch attack, while Dusty finds another blinded bandit inside of the fog and kills him with a devastating slash from his great axe. Malik moves into the farmhouse and moves along the wall in the fog until he reaches a door frame, where he calls out to Dusty about his discovery. As Dusty responds to Malik's request, he is hit by a bandit's sword, breaking his concentration on the fog spell. The fog in the room dissipates quickly to reveal 3 bandits, a door in the living area, and a staircase going up to the 2nd floor. 1 bandit guards the door. The 2nd is engaged in combat with Cantor, while the 3rd bandit heads up the stairs. Nyraxis and Octavius make their way into the farmhouse through the front door, and both miss bandits with their firebolt spell attacks. Dusty casts Hunter's Mark on the bandit next to the door and strikes him down with a massive blow, killing him. Cantor finishes off the bandit at the stairwell with 2 well-placed kick attacks, knocking him to the ground. Dusty then moves to the top of the stairs to engage the bandit that fled up there. The bandit shoots at Dusty as he advances up the steps and grazes him with a crossbow bolt. Dusty makes short work of the bandit by removing him from the battle with 1 powerful swing of his great axe. The ranger sees 2 rooms with closed doors upstairs. He makes his way back downstairs to the door in the living area. Malik relays to the party that the door is locked. Octavius and Nyraxis ready attacks with cantrip spells for anything that comes out the locked door. Meanwhile, Gothox had already shapeshifted into a tiny spider last episode, and was making his way into the locked room through a crack in the window. As the druid entered the room, he saw it filled with supplies, as well as a few carcasses of deer and rabbits in the process of hanging before butchering. Along the wall are 2 large barrels filled with a blackish black sludge, and a human male wearing a brown robe holding a glass globe filled with the strange black liquid. The man faces the door and looks scared. From the looks of it, he seems to be ready to throw down the glass globe if the door is breached. Gothox morphs back to his original form, which startles the man in the brown robes. The man tells Gothox that if they do not let him and his men leave this location with their equipment, that he will send all of us to hell. Gothox, concerned about the threat, made his way to the door and opened it. He told the party that a man is standing next to a strange liquid and is threatening to blow us all up if we do not leave. The robed fanatic tells Gothox that they can have this farmhouse and barn after we leave. He tells the druid that they will pack up now and go, but only after the adventurers have left this location. Cantor heard that a man was threatening to blow up the house, so he jumped out the closest window, with Dusty following suit. Malik and Octavius moved out of the house to a safe distance, while Nyraxis moved slowly, readying a firebolt attack on anyone leaving the locked room. Gothox told the robed fanatic that they would leave and to not do anything rash. After about a minute, the robed man left the room and was targeted by a firebolt spell attack by Nyraxis. The spell missed, causing the robed fanatic to retreat back into the room and yell out threats about blowing them all up again. Nyraxis and the adventurers decided to leave the farmhouse location and travel about a quarter-mile from the threat. Once they reached a safe distance, they had Gothox shape-shift back into a hawk and scout the farmhouse and barn for activity. Gothox flew back to the isolated farmhouse and barn. He perched up on a tree and watched 3 brown-robed fanatics and 4 bandits in leather armor load 3 wagons. The wagons were loaded with 2 barrels of the strange black sludge, and 20 crates full of glass globes filled with the black sludge. Gothox noted that a cavalryman wearing normal clothing was also standing with the carts. After about an hour, they had loaded the carts and started unknowingly traveling in the direction that the heroes went. So Gothox made his way back to the group with overhead flight. Our heroes waited on the side of the dirt road in the dense forest for Gothox's return. After 10 minutes of waiting, our heroes were attacked by a random encounter of 6 Gnolls. The Gnolls charged through the dense forest with claws and bone longbows, ready to strike. Dusty acted first and dropped a fog spell on the ground that covered 3 of the 6 Gnolls. Dusty then moved into the fog to locate blinded enemies. Cantor then moved with great speed toward the trio of Gnolls. He attacked one with an unarmed strike, but missed. The monk then entered a dodge stance. Malik put himself in front of Octavius and Nyraxis. The cleric then declared dodge and told the wizard and sorcerer to stay behind him. Nyraxis cast a witch bolt spell on an advancing Gnoll, causing serious electrical damage. Octavius cast magic missiles from his wand, hitting one of the 3 Gnolls fighting Cantor. The Gnolls charged at the heroes with rage. Dusty had one attack him within the fog, but the creature missed the ranger. A Gnoll attacked Cantor with a rake attack, but failed to find an opening in the monk's defenses. Octavius was struck by a critical blow from a Gnoll's bone longbow, causing serious damage to the wizard. Finally, 2 Gnolls shot at Nyraxis, both striking him for average piercing damage. Dusty struck the Gnoll in the fog with a hearty blow from his great axe. Cantor remained engaged with his Gnoll combatant, both exchanging blows. Malik cast a Toll the Dead spell on the adjacent Gnoll, doing minimal necrotic damage. Nyraxis uses his bonus action to kill a Gnoll with a second witch bolt strike. The tiefling then moved and blasted a firebolt spell at the Gnoll fighting Dusty, dropping him unconscious with fire damage. Octavius fired another magic missile from his wand, hitting the Gnoll next to Malik for good force damage. 2 Gnolls let off well-placed longbow shots that both hit Octavius. He negates the second arrow's damage with his Stone Giant Goliath damage reduction ability. Dusty moved out of the fog and attacked the Gnoll adjacent to Malik and Octavius. Dusty sliced into his enemy with such force that he dropped it into a pool of its own blood, while 2 other Gnolls missed Cantor with rake attacks. The monk responded by removing the 3rd Gnoll from combat with a flurry of blows. Nyraxis fired another firebolt cantrip at the 5th Gnoll, dropping it to the ground. The party engaged the final Gnoll, but in the end, it was Nyraxis who took it down. The tiefling sorcerer then turned to the group and said with a grin, "That's 4 kills for me. How did the rest of you do?" The heroes moved the bodies of the Gnolls off the old dirt road and into an area with thick shrubbery. About 45 minutes after the random encounter, Gothox returned in hawk form from the sky down onto the party. He morphed back into his original form, where he began to describe what he saw at the old farmhouse. He told the adventurers that fanatics loaded up 3 wagons with 2 horses, driving each wagon. He claimed he saw food, equipment, 2 wooden barrels of black sludge, and crates full of glass globes filled with a black sludge liquid. Gothox said that the 3 wagons are heading this way and will be here in about 5 to 10 minutes. The heroes had a quick discussion about what to do with the flammable black sludge that was heading their direction. Malik was against the ambush on the approaching wagons. As he said, they gave these men their word they would not attack them. "I will stay at a safe distance and keep myself alert for anyone who needs my healing help." After the discussion, Dusty cut down a medium-sized tree with his adamantite great axe, and the group placed the fallen tree across the old dirt road. Dusty, Cantor, and Gothox hid behind the trees 30 feet from the roadblock they had set up. Octavius took cover behind a tree next to the dirt road about 60 feet from the ambush spot. Nyraxis cast fly and perched himself on a tree branch overlooking the old dirt road, about 150 feet away from the downed tree in the road. Malik, the most cautious, stayed back about 200 feet from the ambush location. The heroes would stay hidden until given the attack order by the 3 characters closest to their designed trap. 10 minutes would pass before they saw 3 wagons pulled by horses heading in their direction. Each wagon had 1 bandit rider and 2 brown-robed men walking at the front and back of the wagon formation. There was also a coward, half-beaten man walking next to the middle wagon. As the wagon convoy approached the downed tree, they were waved to stop by the brown-robed fanatic. He inspected the downed tree and noticed it was a fresh cut. He immediately yelled out, "It's an ambush." That's when Gothox cast an entanglement spell on top of the first wagon, the rider, and the robed fanatic. Octavius then cast his last magic missile from his wand, dealing force damage to the robed man. Nyraxis flew down and landed about 100 feet from the roadblock, where he struck down the robed fanatic in the front with a firebolt spell. The robed fanatic lay unconscious in entangled vines. The rider on the first wagon successfully dodged out of the way and was not restrained by the entanglement spell. He moved out of the difficult terrain and grabbed a glass globe from around his waist and threw it at Dusty, hitting him directly in the face with the black sludge for a critical hit, dealing 20d6 damage. This attack dropped Dusty to the ground, unconscious with severe burns and concussion damage. The bandit on the second wagon dismounted and moved toward an exposed Gothox. The bandit also threw a globe of explosion at the druid, causing serious burns and force damage. The third bandit got down from the wagon and moved near the ambushing heroes. He threw his globe of explosion at Cantor, but underthrew it, and it exploded harmlessly on the ground. Cantor moved over to Dusty and administered a healing potion to him, bringing him back to life with modest healing. Cantor then made his way toward the 3 bandits who dismounted their wagons, while the cowering citizen and the other brown-robed fanatic hid from danger behind the last cart. Nyraxis could see that his companions were being hit with explosive fire from the glass globes, so he decided to target the barrel of black sludge on the first wagon with a firebolt spell. He struck the wooden barrel with a direct hit, causing the barrel of black goo to ignite, creating a mushroom cloud explosion that would deliver damage on a catastrophic scale. The force of the explosion and fire released from the black sludge was enough to hit every hero in the area with 15d6 force damage and 15d6 fire damage. The detonation cratered the area, with trees blown away from the explosion point for over 200 feet in all directions. The explosion was so large that it was seen by residents of Gnolls and those near the Temple of Elemental Evil. This ends this week's episode. Did any of our heroes survive? Stay tuned to the Temple of Elemental Evil adventure series. Huge thanks for tuning in. I appreciate your support. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and ring the bell for more updates.